How's it going?
One of the question marks coming in was just how the running game would be to get it going like that. What did that do for you in the passing game?
I mean, I think as a quarterback, when you're throwing the football, anytime you have a run game like that, I mean, and defense got to defend it. It opens up a lot of opportunities for us on the edge, in the perimeter, whether it be play action pass, just spacing the field. A lot of favorable matchups I felt like we had because of the run game going so well. So, I mean, you love to have balance. I mean, that's any good offense has balance. And, obviously with us running the ball the way we did, I think kind of setting that tone. Certainly a lot of stuff in the pass game came off of it.
Alex, you guys use a lot more RPOs than they've used in the past here. That's something you've been comfortable with. Why are you so comfortable with that?
How do you know they're RPOs?
Well, I know because the players told me. So, because you can look for some clues. There's some clues. Some of them are fake. I know that. I'm not Al Michaels.
Yeah.
But some of them were being used, and it helps open up some things. Why are you so comfortable with that, and what does it do for that run game?
I mean, I think experience is the main reason. I've had a lot of experience with them since they've kind of come in vogue, and some weeks they're great, some weeks they're not as great. I think that the nice thing is that as a play caller, all of a sudden now you don't have to be right. In the past, if you were having to choose between kind of run and pass, you had to make that decision, and you kind of had to play that chess game as a play caller. Now, not as much. You kind of have them built into the same play call, and the defense really dictates where the ball goes. Yeah, like I said, though, some weeks they make a ton of sense based on what you're seeing scheme-wise and from a personal standpoint. Other weeks they don't and won't be as good. So,
following up on John's question, just what are your initial impressions being behind this offensive line, and what's the versatility of these guys able to, what are they able to do for the run game and for the pass game and those option plays you guys have?
Yeah, I think been really impressed with those guys, not just the starting five as a unit, but I think that whole room. The kind of pride they take, the detail they have at their position and as a whole. And I think the detail is in all aspects. I mean, I feel like they can do about everything. They take a lot of pride in being able to do a lot. They don't get pigeonholed, as a single player or as a group. That they can do it all. They're good in space. They can pound it. They're good in pass pro. So I think that's a strength, not only of theirs, but obviously ours as an offense and a team.
Alex, you played with Vernon Davis at kind of the height of his career in San Francisco. You obviously had a top-flight tight end in Kansas City. I wonder, when you've now had some experience with Jordan Reed, where you put his ability and how important it is, if he is healthy, how different does that make this offense on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, I mean, I think the tight end position is such a unique position across the league. These guys are tweeners. They all do a little bit of everything. They have to block in the run game. They have to block in the pass game. They have to obviously be involved in route running as well. We move them around, shifts and motions and things. I mean, I think these guys all have a lot on their plate. I think, and in Jordan, you have a guy that is really special and unique at that, doing all those things. His ability to do a lot as a tight end. I mean, he's capable of doing about all there is because he has, obviously the skill set to do it, and then I think mentally that he works really hard at knowing all those facets of his game. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a difference maker, without a doubt, at the tight end position. And it's different when he's on the field. Yeah.
Alex, can you describe some of the diversity of the offense where you can have a week like last week where you work a lot underneath with Chris and Jordan and not necessarily test the guys on the outside as much, but it's also kind of dictated by what the defense is, and next week could be a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the mindset you hope to develop, is that just and I think that's true every week. I know last week especially because we were facing a new coaching staff and a new defense, but every week there is an element of that. You don't know where their point of emphasis is going to be, and I think throughout the week you're prepared to have a sound game plan knowing that we don't know. You don't know whose turn it's going to be. You don't know who's going to have that moment in that key situation. And I think good offenses prepare every single guy included to do their job, that when your number is called, you make the play. You're accountable to the other guys on the offensive side and the team. And, and that you piece it together through playmakers and scheme that you can't stop us all. That kind of mentality, and I think you have to develop that and work at it.
Alex, you've been here for a couple months now and just getting to know the guys and the personnel. Is there anything that surprised you seeing this team in game action for the first week?
I don't know about surprise. I think just anxious to see us when it really matters. I think all that stuff gets turned up, right? The intensity, the stress, the anxiety, all those things get magnified once they become real. And so, I was anxious to see just how we handled that, traveling on the road, an opener, handling our emotions, I think, because, using them as a strength versus, sometimes letting them get the best of you. And I thought our team as a whole handled that really, really well, and I think for me, that's what I was, that was still kind of the unknown, I think, to just see how we handle it. And it still is. We still, right, every week's a different thing, and something else is going to come up, and we're going to have to be able to handle it. So that's an ongoing test.
There's the forecast for potential heavy rains on Sunday. Is there anything you've picked up over your career, anything you try to keep in mind? Or
No secrets. I wish I had a secret or something that made it easy. No, it's tough. I think fundamentals, attention to detail when you're handling the ball every single play, in weather, obviously that's a premium, ball security and ball handling and, in the pocket and things like that. So, no, I wish I had some kind of secret sauce or something, but I don't. And just try to do the best I can.
Alex, we've asked you about a number of unique players that you guys have, but Trent might be the most unique of them all with his athleticism. Have you ever played with a tackle remotely that athletic, and what kind of things can you do with him that you can't with a typical, very good left tackle?
Yeah, again, I think it's a lot like the Jordan question. I don't want to necessarily compare to other guys I've played with, but same thing. He's a special player. He's a difference maker as well when he's on the field. I don't feel like there's anything he really is limited in doing. I think as a left tackle, he can do it all. He's great in the open field. He's so strong, handling, I think, any guy's of size or a bull rush or things like that. And then obviously has great feet. So I think all those things, I think obviously make him that special.
Whether it's in the offseason as you were studying this offense in years past or watching the game back from Sunday, was there any time you watched him and just went, how in the world did he do that?
Yeah, there's plays certainly. We watch a lot of film over the years and you see plays. I think everybody in the league knows the caliber of player that he is and how special he is. It's always different, though, when you're on the same field with it and you see it live. I think it's a little more, it becomes a little more real. It's special to see on a daily basis.
Alex, I wanted to ask you about a teammate on the other side of the ball. Ryan Kerrigan hasn't missed a game in his entire career, 114 consecutive starts. What kind of appreciation do you have for a guy who, in a high-impact position, just is never out?
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's a ridiculous stat, I think, at that position. Anytime you're playing in the trenches, those guys, it's a different level in there every single play. It's tough to avoid contact. And, I think a credit to him. Certainly I see how hard he works, taking care of his body every single day he's in here, whether it be working out, recovering, doing something, rehabbing. It's not by accident, that's because of that. So, I think having gone against him in the past too, you just see that same kind of relentlessness on the field, and obviously he's a same thing, really elite player. When you're out there every Sunday, you're helping us.
The receivers, how do you communicate with them? Really, with game flow in that game, you didn't have to use your wideouts a ton just because you had so much success with Adrian and Chris. How do you communicate with them on a week-to-week basis to say, hey, stick with me here, I'm going to get you involved?
Yeah, I think talking about it like that, that mentality, right? There was some unknown. We didn't know the way the game plan was going to go, and and I think there's going to be weeks like that. There's going to be other weeks where it comes in bunches, and all of a sudden those guys we're going to lean on them offensively. And we're going to need them, and the ball's going to be coming a bunch. That's the nature, I think, of week to week and just who you're playing. I think the great thing is we got a bunch of selfless guys out there. I think that all they care about is winning. Obviously, they want to be involved and included, but team-first guys. And I think that's not always the case at that position around the league, and I think kind of a credit to the mindset of those guys we have outside.
Alex, there's obviously a big rookie class of quarterbacks, and you had to go through what a lot of these guys are going through. Some are playing, some are not. For you, what was, when you look at your own self, what was the benefit, or pros and cons, I guess, for you playing right away like you did?
I don't know if there were many pros for me playing early. I felt like I dug myself a pretty big hole that rookie year. Certainly, though, I started every game, played every snap that second year. And for me, that was invaluable. That kind of experience was invaluable for me. But I do feel like that was a different situation than the year prior. And these situations are all different. Some of these guys come out more ready than others based on how long they've played and just where they are maturity-wise, how old they are, all these things, how much ball they've played. So every situation is different. I don't think any two are totally alike. So it's hard to compare. I don't think you're really comparing apples to apples. But I do know for me, yeah, I do feel like I dug myself a big hole my rookie year. And it took, multiple years to kind of dig myself out of that.
So there were guys that you would have come in with the same class. A guy like Aaron Rodgers goes somewhere he can sit for a while. Do you ever wonder what could have happened for you if you could have gone there to a sit where you can sit, or does it matter?
I've had people ask me and things like that. I don't give it much thought. What's the point? No. They're totally different roads, and no. So, it does me no good necessarily dwelling on that. I'm very thankful for where I'm at right now and the road I did have to go down. Certainly there were tough times and things like that, but no, you can't go back and change it, so why dwell on it? All right. Yeah, thanks, guys.